All right, you entered a plea of guilty on September 11th. You applied for deferred adjudication. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 12 years in the prison. There are two cases that are being taken in consideration. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon, a $5,000 fine, and the state is opposing your application.
So prior to his arrest for the offenses that brings him here today, how bad would you say Uriah's drug use was?
I would say probably pretty bad. As far as what I was aware, he was always high. He's not a violent person. He was never in fights at school growing up. He never at all. He wasn't violent at home. He didn't punch walls. He was never like that ever. But he also he won't know anybody here. Like nobody from, anybody that he used to run with or know on the streets or anything. Like he won't know anybody here. So it would be a complete fresh start.
I mean, you are aware that there's a evaluation, what we call a precedence investigation, where your son stated that he denied consuming alcohol or drugs during the commitment of this offense of aggravated assault on an individual. Are you aware of that?
No, I'm not. But I know how methamphetamines work, and I know my son, and he wasn't the same person at that time.
Were you there?
Mentally.
Sorry.
No, I wasn't. I obviously wasn't there, but I talked to him often. Well, sometimes I went and talked to him for a month or two, but I mean, I talked to him that day, the day that he got arrested, and I could hear it in his voice.
Did you know that if he actually didn't get arrested on the day of the offense?
No. Well, no.
In his precedence investigation, he said he did meth after the offense happened in the days following. You're not aware of that, are you?
No.
And are you aware of the victim's injuries in this case?
The victim's what?
Injuries.
Yes.
So you're aware that he lost an eye?
Yes.
His skull was crushed in?
Yes.
And that he was shot at more than once?
Not by my son. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. Yes, I am. And it's a terrible thing. And I'm glad that he is alive.
You're also aware he was stabbed? Is that correct?
No, I wasn't aware of that part, but I mean, it doesn't make it any better or worse. It's all bad.
You realize also that he was hogtied with his arms behind him.
Yes.
And put it in his own trunk of his own car.
Mm-hmm.
And driven around and then dumped on the side of the road without many articles of his clothing, pretty much naked. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Your son told you this?
No.
Okay. No further questions, John.
Did you tell the probation officer you actually tied him up?
The probation officer?
That interviewed you for this. Did you tell them that you tied him up?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So as far as the tying up is concerned, because he was tied up, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How did you participate? What was your active role?
I just got the rope.
Okay.
And I handed it to DK, or to Darryl. Sorry.
I'm sorry, could you speak up?
I got the rope and I handed it to Darryl.
Okay.
And that's your co-defendant in this case, who I believe you referred to as DK.
Yes, sir.
The PSI also talks about you putting Josh in the trunk of his car. Did you do that?
No, sir.
Did you tell probation you did that?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you drive his car away with him in it?
Yes, sir.
the PSI also talks about when you guys went and stopped somewhere in Atkins, and it makes it sound like you took part in the shooting, like that you actively shot Joshua. Did you tell probation that?
No, sir. I mean, I told them that I was there, yes, but I never touched the gun. I never did anything like that.
Did you assist in removing Joshua from his trunk so that he could be shot?
I don't believe so, no.
Did you have a gun?
No, sir.
So are you the one that shot Joshua?
No, sir.
Who did shoot Joshua?
Darryl shot Joshua.
Now, you're not saying that you didn't participate in what happened to Joshua, are you?
No, I'm not saying that.
And I believe what's actually in the stipulated evidence is earlier that day, Joshua had actually hit you in the face with a guitar. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And so you made DK aware of this?
Whenever DK pulled up to the trailer, he asked me why I was bleeding, and I told him that Joshua hit me with a guitar.
Okay. Did you ask DK to do anything to Joshua?
No, sir. He walked in and started doing that on his own.
Okay. But once DK started doing things to Joshua, you made a choice, right?
Yes, sir.
You chose to go get the rope.
Yes, sir.
You chose to drive the car.
Yes, sir.
And you chose to plead guilty as opposed to no contest, right?
Yes, sir.
So probably the biggest question in the back of the judge's mind is, based on everything that happened to Joshua, okay, and what you did participate in,
Yes, sir.
why in the world should she give you probation and not just send you to prison?
Because I understand that it was wrong in not calling the cops and participating in any of it. And I believe that I can prove that that's not who I am, and that I'll be able to complete probation and pay back any kind of restitution that goes to them, to Joshua.
Are you sorry for?
Yes, of course.
What happened?
I'm sorry that all of it happened to him. He didn't deserve it, and I'm sorry to his family.
Well, they're right there. So you think maybe you should tell him and not us?
Of course, I'm very sorry that all of it happened to Joshua. If I could go back, I would have called the cops. I would have tried my best to convince DK not to do it. I'm very sorry.
Are you asking the judge for a second chance despite your choices?
Yes, sir.
Tell her that, not me.
Yes, ma'am. I would. I hope that you'll give me the chance and opportunity to prove that, or to give me a probation and even the drug rehab program.
State.
Yes, Ron. Mr. Huffman, you said you didn't actually actively shoot Mr. Sandoval, right?
Yes, sir.
And you actively, I guess, grabbed a rope, handed it over to DK, which is Darryl King, right?
Yes, sir.
Darryl King is the one that shot Josh, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Who stabbed him?
I'm not aware.
You're not aware? You didn't have a knife?
No, sir.
You didn't have a knife.
No, sir.
And so the stab wounds, you don't know how that happened?
I'm aware that he got stabbed, but I don't
So who
know how.
stabbed him?
All right, I'm going to need you to speak up.
I'm aware that he got stabbed, but I'm not aware of who stabbed him.
Was there anybody else?
Was there anybody else that could have stabbed him?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Who?
I don't know his name. It was just a guy.
So you don't have the guy's name.
No, sir.
So this random guy that you don't know his name stabbed Josh. Is that what you're saying?
No.
So who
I'm
stabbed him?
saying that there was another guy that could have done it.
Could have done it. So you could have done it.
No, that's not what I'm saying. You asked me if there was anybody else.
Okay.
Yes, there was.
You were there.
Yes, sir.
You were there when he got put in the trunk.
Yes, sir.
You were there when he got tied up.
Yes, sir.
You're the one that drove the vehicle around, right? In a hot trunk. And you knew that this individual had been stabbed, beaten, and tied up.
No, at the time, I did not know.
You didn't know he had been beaten?
No, that he'd been stabbed. I didn't find that out until I was already in jail.
Oh, so you didn't witness any stab wounds. You didn't see him bleeding before he got shot?
No, sir.
He wasn't bleeding before y'all shot him on the side of the road.
I didn't shoot him,
I
but
know, I said y'all, law parties in the state of Texas, if you're standing there, and you're participating, and that doesn't mean you pulled the trigger, but you were there, right?
yes.
And
Yes,
you
sir.
left with DK, right?
Yes, sir.
Was he bleeding before you all shot him? Let's just say DK, I'm not gonna split peas with you. DK shoots him, you're standing next to DK. Was he bleeding before he was shot?
Yes,
Why was he bleeding?
yes, I assume he would, I can't tell you why he was bleeding. I'm sure
can't?
he got stabbed, but I don't know who stabbed him.
Did you hit him?
No,
You never hit Josh,
no, sir.
ever.
No, sir.
So DK did everything.
Yes, sir.
So DK stabbed him.
Okay, well, I don't know. I can't say for sure if TK stabbed him.
Okay. So he was bleeding before he was shot, right?
Yes, I mean, I
Hey,
believe I saw.
You were sober. You weren't doing drugs. You weren't drinking. Right? That's what you told everybody in this packet. You weren't drinking and you weren't on meth the day this happened. You said it twice. So you were sober when this happened. Right?
That is what that says, but I've already tried to tell my lawyer that I was using at that time.
At that time. Were you using that day or not?
Yes,
So now that's something else that needs to be changed in this packet.
I thought that's what he said. I'm trying to.
I don't
make it
know.
clear
I'm
to him.
asking you.
Yes, that I was using drugs that day.
So these two items that say right here, it says the defendant denied consuming alcohol and using drugs on the date of the instant offense. That means that offense that happened that we were just talking about. That's wrong.
I mean, yes, I did use drugs that day.
Okay. Before or after you all shot him?
So,
Sorry, I
Both?
can't hear you, sir.
both.
So you're using drugs before and after Josh was shot
I had used drugs before. Yes, and
that day.
yes, that day. Yes, sir.
Well, okay, you do remember him being tied up, right? What you call hog-tied, right?
Yes, sir.
And he didn't have his clothes on, right?
Yes, sir.
Why didn't he have his clothes on?
Because they got taken off.
Who took him off?
DK.
And you just stood there?
Yes, sir.
Was he hog-tied at the time that the clothes were being taken off or not?
Yes, I believe so.
He was. And then when was he shot?
He was shot behind the car.
Behind the car. When he was on the ground,
Yes, sir.
bleeding, already been cut,
It was
already been
dark.
stabbed.
Yes.
Tell me this. What do you think had happened to him after he got shot?
He laid on the side of the road.
Well, did you think he died?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is one step away from a murder, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So why do you deserve deferred adjudication on this case? Tell the court that. Why do you deserve it? Because you almost committed murder. You see the man right there with his face bashed in and he has his left eye's not there anymore. Why do you deserve deferred for that?
Can't honestly say that I don't.
Thank
Or
you.
that I do.
Thank you. No further questions.
Should have done something, right?
Yes, sir.
Why didn't you?
I wasn't in the right state of mind. I just been hit with a guitar. So I wasn't thinking clearly. DK, he told me to get the rope. He told me to do this, and I chose to listen to him. Whenever I should have told him that, no,
What gave DK so much power over you that you
it's not that he had.
listened to him?
It's not that he had power. It's just that I don't know. He's a very intimidating person, and
Is DK a little man or a big man?
he's a big dude.
This is what the court will do. The court is going to deny your application, find you guilty, sentence you to 12 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's a $5,000 fine. Time and money will run concurrent. Take in consideration 2022 CR 7208, 2022 CR 7210. I can order the therapeutic community. It'll be up to them whether or not they place you in the therapeutic community. I absolutely have no jurisdiction over that. So if you would like, I could put that in the order.
Yes, ma'am.
There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. There's to be restitution, if any, and no contact with Joshua Sandoval and Ramon Lavario. I know that 12 years is a lot of time. Honestly, anytime you do, whether it's at the Bexar County Jail or wherever it's at the prison, that's a lot of time. But I did internalize everything that was said. I listened to all of the witnesses. If you have a drug or alcohol problem, you need to use this time away to get your life in order, to concentrate on what improvements you want to make so you don't be back here. The complainant in this case has permanent injuries, and those injuries will never go away. You can go to jail, do your time, get your life in order. You can even get a college degree at the jail. And I could be wrong, but I don't even think they have to pay for the degree. So you can get a free degree at the jail and work on yourself, figure out how you got in this situation and not put yourself in this situation again. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Is there a victim impact?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Judge. Excuse me.
Yes.